Sameer Shah of Mumbai invests in mutual fund. He is a disciplined investor but does not know how mutual funds are taxed. Investing in mutual funds is considered to be a very beneficial option from the tax point of view. It is important to pay attention to this important element while investing in mutual funds. When you sell a unit of a mutual fund scheme, only then the tax is levied.
After all, what kind of tax will Sameer have to pay on his investments in equity funds? In the point of view of tax, those funds are called equity mutual funds, which have investment at least 65% in equity, that is in shares. If the units of an equity funds are sold before 1 year, then the return on it is called short-term capital gains or STCG. Tax at the rate of 15% and cess of 4% on this return is levied. Cess means tax paid above regular tax. Similarly, the profit earned on selling the units of an equity fund after 1 year is called long-term capital gains or LTCG. Long-term capital gains in equity funds attract a lump sum tax of 10% and cess of 4%. But it is a matter of relief that tax is applicable only when an investor had made a long-term capital gain of more than rupees 1 lakh in single financial year. That means long-term capital gain up to rupees 1 lakh are tax-free.
Tax on debt funds? If the units are sold within 3 years of investment in a debt fund, then short-term capital gains tax is applicable. This tax is levied according to the income tax slab of the investor. Selling units of debt funds after 3 years will attract long-term capital gains tax at the fixed rate of 20% on the profit. It also has the advantage of indexation, that is, it is adjusted according to inflation. Hybrid fund. How are investments taxed in hybrid funds? Capital gains tax on hybrid fund or balance fund depend on the allotment of equity investment. If the investment in equity is more than 65%, then the fund will be taxed like an equity fund. If it is less than this, then it will be taxed like a debt fund. Tax on dividend offer. Earlier, the dividend received by the investors was not taxed because companies used to pay dividend distribution tax (DDT). But from the budget 2021-22 onwards, the new rule of tax on dividends of mutual funds has come into force. Now, the dividend received by the investors is taxed. According to the new rule, the dividend, that is, dividend received by the investors, is added to their taxable income. After this, tax is levied according to the rate of tax slab they fall into. Tax rules of SIP. How investment in mutual funds through SIP is taxed. The tax levied on SIP depends on whether the investment made in equity funds or non-equity funds. Tax is levied on both at the prescribed rates. For the purpose of tax compiling, every installment of SIP is considered as a new investment. In this way, to calculate the tax on the total SIP investment, the tax on each particular installment is calculated and added. Money9 suggests there have been many changes in tax rules pertaining to the mutual funds in recent past. Keep these changes in mind that we discussed while investing. Profits in equity for up to rupees 1 lakh in a financial year are tax-free. Make a strategy to make the most out of it.